I got pulled over by the police again. Hello, everyone. Troy Thompson, the owner and founder of AOF Financial. And today, awareness part two. A couple of months ago, I did a video titled Awareness, where I spoke about how I got pulled over for speeding because I was totally unaware of how fast I was going and that a police officer was following me. And then I connected that awareness to financial things and being aware of one's income and expenses and tracking that as a beginning step of financial success. Well, this time my wife had taken the car that I normally drive, and for whatever reason, she had turned off the lights. Normally, I just leave it on the automatic so that way when I pull up and stop, the lights automatically turn off. I turn on the car, they automatically turn on. Well, she had turned them off, and I didn't realize it. Not quite sure how I managed to do that. Our neighborhood has street lights, but not that many. I should have noticed when I was leaving our neighborhood, but I didn't. And then by the time I, got out of our neighborhood and I'm in a little more of the city, there was a lot more lights, and so I can understand in that setting why I didn't notice. I just felt like I should have noticed beforehand. And so I'm driving along, and of course I go by a police officer again, and so she pulled me over, and because I didn't have any lights on, thankfully I got lucky again that she didn't give me a ticket. Very interesting because this is twice in the last 2 months that I've been pulled over when it had been 8 years since I've been pulled over at all, and then my last ticket was in 1997. So I went like 20 years without ever getting pulled over at all. And then now I've been pulled over twice in the last 2 months. And so when I'm tying this lack of awareness to money again today, is that many people are unaware of where their money is going. And so in the other video, I talked about the basics of just simply income expenses. And today, I am being more specific in terms of where their money is invested. So I will periodically review 401k and IRA statements with individuals. And rarely do they know how the money is invested, what is actually going into, and what portion is going into each of those items, meaning, take 100% of all the money, what percent is going into this mutual fund, and what is its expectation, what is its purpose, and what percent is going into this fund, and what is its advantages and limitations. And so they don't know. They have a lack of awareness. And additionally, they are unaware of other options. They're not aware that they can do things to protect themselves from a down market, that there are products that they can get a guaranteed return, that today the guaranteed return is a lot better than it has been. You can get as much as 5%, even 5.5% now. And or a person can use what's called an indexing strategy, which I talk about in another video, where the money receives an interest credit based on the performance of an index, but you don't have to ride the roller coaster of the market going up and down. Part of my business is providing education and helping people become aware of their options. And so in several videos, I've talked about annuities, but that's just one piece of the puzzle. Depending on a person's net worth and their goals, there are other options that are available that some people have never even heard of before. And part of that is because certain things can't be openly advertised. So what I do is provide education. I help people see where their money is going, what it's being invested in. So that way they can make a decision. Are they okay with that? And additionally, I give them some alternatives of ways where they can protect a portion of their money. And I bring up those scenarios. It's interesting. Mindset's very interesting. So the mind tends to gravitate towards the negative. So here's an example. Let's say I go to a restaurant, I have a good experience. I will tell one or two people about it. But let's say I go somewhere and I have a bad experience. The average person will tell at least 10 people when they have a bad experience. So the mind is designed to protect, and the mind tends to go towards the negative. What's really fascinating about that I've seen in my career is people tend to do the opposite with their money. They always think it's going to work out better than it will. And so they always think, oh yeah, the market's going to come back, or this stock that I bought is going to continue to go up. And they always tend to think of the positive outcome instead of considering, well, what's the worst outcome? And am I willing to accept that? So will I be okay financially and mentally if the market goes down another 30% from here? So if my strategy is a dollar cost averaging, where I'm going to put the same amount of money into the account every month, regardless of the price, and as it's going up, I'm automatically going to be buying less and less of that stock or mutual fund because I'm putting in the same amount of money. As the price is going up, then I'm buying fewer and fewer shares. And then the reciprocal happens when the market's going down. I'm still putting in the same amount of money. As the market's going down, I'm buying more and more shares. And so this can be a viable wealth accumulation strategy when played out over many years, 10 to 40 years. What happens then is the price per share of what I own is higher than the price per share that I paid. So that is known as dollar cost averaging. That can be particularly effective for someone who's in their 20s, 30s, 40s. Now, once a person gets to be older, then time is not so much on their side. And so there can be a greater focus on the preservation, so protecting from loss, because if there's a 50% loss, I may not either be emotionally willing to wait 7 years to get back even, and I may not be financially able to wait 7 years to get back even. So all of this comes back to awareness of what my role is, sharing with people their different options, what are the advantages and limitations of each strategy. So if any of this is of interest to you, you can click in the link below and schedule a complimentary session. We'll review your situation, give you my suggestions, give you my ideas, and I'll see how I can help. Troy with AOF Financial.